KNUS Denver. Sleep deprived and heavily caffeinated.
All right, let's do this then.
This is the Jeff and Bill Show.
I don't agree with that.
They don't always agree, but hey, at least they have coffee.
Coffee.
And each other.
I love you, man.
God help us.
I want to bless him. We need all the help we can get.
Now here's Jeff Hunt and Bill Thorpe. The Jeff and Bill Show on News Talk 710 KNUS.
$8 a.m. in the Mile High City on this Wednesday, June 25th, 2025. Good morning, Denver, Colorado. You've tuned in to the Jeff and Bill Show, News Talk 710 KNUS. I'm your co-host, Jeff Hunt, along with Bill Thorpe, bringing you the freshest insights and honest takes from the right, left, and center this hour. Oh, Brittany Pettersen. Congresswoman from Congressional District, was it 7? The Lakewood side of Denver, the western portion of Denver, brings her baby son along to question Fed chairman at a hearing. She held her 5-month-old in her lap while she spoke to Jerome Powell. Look, I'm all for, Bill. I'm all for kids and helping out, coming by in the workplace. I just wonder time and place on everything, right? So if I go into a meeting, for instance, with the big bosses here at Salem, my kids aren't hanging out in the meeting there. They'll be hanging out over here or, go do something, go down to the cafeteria and hang out, that type of thing. Now, granted, Brittany's son is 5 months old, but does he have to be everywhere, including the questioning of the Fed chairman at a congressional hearing? And while she's trying to ask him questions, he's being a 5-month-old baby. He's bouncing around. He's hitting the table. He's a distraction. I can only you can only imagine the chairman of the Federal Reserve talking about the interest rates that affect all of us while talking to a bouncing baby on the lap. Now, I'm not opposed to kids being around. I think the idea of carving out our family, leaving them completely separate from our job, I think that's a bad thing for society. I think it isolates and compartmentalizes parents' work from their kids, and I'm not sure that's always a great thing. But at all moments, the kid is bouncing on your lap. If you're getting a security briefing on strikes to Iran, is the kid bouncing on your lap? And is this fair if you are serving as a demanding member of Congress? Like, that is just, it is an incredibly demanding job. I've worked in it. My wife's worked in it. We've talked about maybe one day one of us will run for office. But our take is the job is so demanding and you have to be so committed to your constituents and the actual work that you are not going to give the amount of time and attention to your family. And so let's just wait it out a little bit, devote this time to our family and our kids, and then maybe at some point we'll get into it. But Brittany Pettersen's kid is constantly with her, even in these conversations of national importance. The little baby's squirming around on her lap. Now, Brittany, I don't think at all that she's somehow a bad mom. I think she's likely a very devoted mother. But I am going to raise this question. Where the hell is her husband? Ian Silveri, who he and I have no love lost between us. I had to call the police one time. This guy is a wild progressive activist, okay, who at one point encouraged Antifa to go win again against me on the anniversary of D-Day. Ian is a consultant. Ian is not a member of the military running secret ops in some jungle far away serving his country. He is a consultant, which means he sits at a laptop. Where is Ian at this point? What is this guy doing? That his wife, who's a member of Congress, has to take meetings with the federal chairman with the baby on the lap? Because of what? Why is nobody asking this question where the dad is? Especially if the dad's a political hack taking hundreds of thousands of taxpayer dollars from Jefferson County to de-Bruce the county. I have very little respect for this guy. And right now, this is looking worse and worse for him. I think he needs to step up a little bit. And maybe your wife, who's a member of Congress taking meetings with the federal chairman, can focus on that while you step up and be a dad. We'll get to the phone lines on this. Man, we're lighting them up. Join the conversation, 303-696-1971. Text us on the Dan Caplis Law text line, 720-819-5115. Now it's time for News and Comment with Blake Olson.
Blake Olson.
Blake Olson, News and Comment.
Good morning. It is Wednesday, 64 and a little cloudy out there in Denver, expecting a high of 80 today. The 710 5-day forecast is coming up. Our top story, DJT touting the U.S. airstrikes on Iran at today's NATO summit taking place in the Netherlands. Here's DJT this morning.
That hit ended the war. I don't want to use an example of Hiroshima. I don't want to use an example of Nagasaki. But that was essentially the same thing. That ended that war. This ended that with the war. If we didn't take that out, they'd be fighting right now.
Joining 47 in the Netherlands, Secretary of State Marco Rubio, who said there's no doubt the U.S. strikes on Iran were a success.
And I refer you to the statement of the IAEA, Mr. Grossi. You know what he said? He said there was Iran, the way it looked the day before the attack, and what their nuclear program looks like now. Two very different things. They are way behind where they were just 7 days ago.
The ceasefire between Israel and Iran appears to be holding, each side claiming victory today after 47 called for a ceasefire Tuesday. The ceasefire comes after, of course, the 12-day conflict between the two countries that included the U.S. bombing Iran. 47 set to address the situation during a news event at the NATO summit soon. DJT also has his eye on the war between Ukraine and Russia, of course, and expected to meet today with little Ukrainian President Zelensky. At the same time, getting NATO countries to agree to raise their national spending on defense to at least 5% of their gross domestic product is still seen as a key focus of this week's gathering. Who's afraid of the big gray wolf, the big gray wolf, the big gray wolf? Not Congresswoman Lauren Boebert, but she does want them to delist the wolves in Colorado.
Delisting them from the Endangered Species Act doesn't directly and immediately help Colorado. However, it does allow our neighboring states to take action when this predator crosses those arbitrary boundaries and goes into their states and their areas. The gray wolf has bounced back and forth on and off the Endangered Species Act, even through as far back as Obama. They said that we need about 600 gray wolves for it to be considered fully recovered. Well, we have about 6,000 gray wolves.
Wow. Boebert on with Jeff and Billy last hour. Douglas County voters are not in favor of a proposal to create a county-wide home rule charter. Unofficial results posted after polls closed Tuesday show that more than 70% of those who voted said no to the measure. County Commissioner George Teal conceded the rejection of the measure last night. He believes voters thought the county was moving too fast in the push for home rule. Teal says that voters will need more time and more information before they support the idea. Democratic Socialist Zoran Mamdani is declaring victory in New York City's Democratic primary for mayor. His opponent, Andrew Cuomo, conceded just hours after the polls had closed. Critics say he's a Muslim who may not be friendly to Jews and Christians and wants to raise taxes. And you know what? Forget the police. He'll use social workers.
न्यूयॉर्कर्स मुश्किल से अफोर्ड कर रहे हैं रोटी, कपड़ा और मकान. मैं ये सब बदलने के लिए लड़ रहा हूँ. रेंट फ्री बसेस, यूनिवर्सल चाइल्ड केयर और सस्ती ग्रोसरीज के जरिए.
Oh my goodness. Let's just pray that doesn't happen. Health and Human Services Secretary RFK Jr. pushing for Americans to wear a tracking device that monitors their health. Kennedy spoke at a hearing Tuesday and called for all Americans to use wearable technology like Fitbits and Apple Watches in an effort to promote healthier lifestyles.
And then after that, they will implant the chip directly in your arm.
Oh, no.
Yeah. I just thought just personally, I just thought it was funny. I'm not taking an opinion on whether or not we should be wearing the Fitbits, etc. But the irony of a government official saying, let's wear something that tracks your movement.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just saying.
That scares me also.
Yeah.
I'm right there. I know I need to lose a lot of weight, but that's where I draw the line
me
also.
Too. I lose a lot of weight too. And just personally, okay, just between you and me, Blake, because we don't know nobody else is listening right now, the last thing I need is a little electronic device fat shaming me. Just personally. I know I'm failing at this. Shut up, you little machine.
Right?
If I was good at this, I wouldn't need you. Yeah.
See, and I don't wear a watch either. I don't like any of that stuff. I mean, but I definitely don't want it implanted in me.
Yeah.
Either.
Problem I've got, I don't wear a watch because I can bump into things, and I seem to I bash the watch into things that I shouldn't. So that's why it's more dangerous for the watch.
Absolutely.
I'm surprised you guys don't take advantage of the healthcare discounts that come from wearing your watch.
No, we don't.
You guys haven't gotten to the next level where you daily weigh yourself for the health insurance discounts.
Why the hell would you do that? That's dumb.
For the health insurance discounts.
Well, I know, but I'm just saying. I understand the discount, but I'm looking at the idea of why the hell would you weigh yourself every day?
Every morning.
That is a meaningless number.
And your scale is tied now to this vitality thingy that we all do here.
My butt it is.
And so,
not happening in my house.
I got the watch, I got the scale, man. I'm just any way I could chip away at those costs.
So in other words, Blake, Jeff is happy to welcome in Big Brother as long as there is a cost-benefit analysis.
Yes.
Okay.
100%.
That is so conservative of you. I tip my hat at you, sir. That is fantastic.
But you guys can all be fat and poor. I'm going to be trim and a little wealthier.
Good for you.
Yeah, but
you're
we're eating
cross-country runner.
It is. It's ridiculous.
No fair.
But here's the thing. Though, Blake, is he may do that and be the better one as far as the health and stuff. But remember, that means all of the ice cream and pie is ours. So we still win. We still win.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We do still
Exactly.
win.
We win.
Yeah,
All right.
you guys aren't here for a long time, but you're here for a good time.
That's right.
Exactly.
That's right.
And then all you healthy people have to carry our casket. Revenge!
It is kind of weird. Like every morning you get up, you weigh yourself, and then you wear your Fitbit watch around. I mean, it's just a constant tracking. But I'm not a fan of the government. Obviously, getting into that. But look, if the incentive cuts down on the healthcare costs, I'm willing to, and it's optional.
I mean,
I'm okay with that.
Isn't that why you're married? I mean, really. For me, All right, the Rockies.
Fantastic.
Rockies first pitch, 6:40 tonight. Dodgers score 6 in the 4th inning last night to beat the Rockies 9-7. 61 in Parker, 62 in Broomfield, 64 in Denver. Jeff and Billy continue. Oh man, I had a good one and it blew up. Ugh! Get my Fitbit. I gotta get.
Watch your stress. Watch your stress levels. Exactly. You know what it is. You'll start having to pay more at that healthcare. No, that's awful.
Exactly. I can't afford that. Blake Olson, News Talk 710 KNUS.
It's likely going to be another active day of thunderstorms along the Front Range and Eastern Plains. And again, a few could become strong to severe. Temperatures is 70s and low 80s. Thunderstorms rumbling through the evening, then ending lows 50s. Warmer and drier. 80s Thursday, 80s and 90s Friday, and sunny to partly sunny. Thunderstorm chances do return by the weekend, especially by Sunday. Weather sponsored by Colorado's Best Roofing, reminding you to protect your home from the harsh Colorado weather and schedule your free no-obligation roof inspection today at roofingcolorado.com. That's roofingcolorado.com. Meteorologist on day in the 710 KNUS Weather Center.
Look, I'm all for having kids in the workplace. All for it. I don't like what our society has done to create these clear distinctions. Dad leaves the house for 10 hours a day and we have no idea what he does. And then he comes home, he's tired, exhausted, doesn't want to spend time with us. I'm not sure that's good, right? I like kids being able to hang out, learn what the parents are doing. My kids come into the studio. I think it's great. But it seems like there's got to be a line somewhere, right? Taking your kid everywhere all the time, questioning the federal chairman of the chair of the Federal Reserve, questioning the chair of the Federal Reserve, Jerome Powell, as a member of Congress while your little baby, 5-month-old, is squirming around and distracting and stuff like that. Maybe not the best time. Maybe trying to change how Congress votes in order to allow proxy voting. All right, that's a disaster because members of Congress are going to be sitting on yachts in Mexico voting. All right, that was a disaster. So I'm not saying to Brittany Pettersen, can't ever bring your child to work. Don't ever do that. Look, Lauren Boebert brings her grandson to work. I think it's fine. But it seems a little excessive at this point. And yesterday, Representative Brittany Pettersen had her son along with her as she questioned the Fed chairman. He's bouncing around. He's squirming on her lap, kind of tapping the table, being a cute little 5-month-old. There's nothing wrong with that. But I will say this, at this point, where the heck is her husband? And I'd be a little bit more sympathetic if he was doing something very noble, fighting, evil somewhere around the world. He's a consultant. I've been a consultant. You put together memos and PowerPoint presentations. So he can't help. He can't help it. Your wife has got to hold the little baby. And then we brought this up during the 6 o'clock hour. No other member of Congress could go, hey, Britt, I got you. Hand me little Sam for a second. I'll hold him in the back. You go do your best. You represent your people. Hammer that chairman of the Federal Reserve with the tough questions, Congresswoman. Nope. It just seems off and weird to me. What do you think? Let's go to the phone lines. Raphael, Denver. Good morning, Raphael. You're on with Jeff and Bill.
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning, guys. Jeff, you never criticize Elon Musk for bringing his child to the White House. You never questioned where his wife, number 12, was, that she was not taking care of the kid. He brought his kid almost every day to the White House, even on respect Donald Trump. And I don't know why you're questioning this right now.
Do you want me to be consistent in saying that it's okay to bring kids to all these things? Or do you want me to be consistent and say they shouldn't be bringing their kids. What are your thoughts?
I think there is environments where kids should not be. And I don't think that's environment for a kid. You even say, that Elon Musk's son reminds you to John F. Kennedy Jr. running around on the White House. I mean, if you're going to criticize one, you have to criticize the other one. You cannot have it both ways.
So in your mind, kids should be gone in both instances. Brittany shouldn't have her son questioning the chairman or the chair of the Federal Reserve, and Elon Musk shouldn't have his son at the White House.
That's right.
All right. Well, I appreciate you being consistent. And I asked myself this question, too. I mean, Rafael, you bring up a fair point. Am I just being partisan in my critique here? Possibly. But do you see it at a different level, though? To me, it seems like it's at a different level with Brittany. I don't know. You don't?
Yeah, I think Rafael, I think what he's asking is, do you feel that Brittany is using the baby more as a prop rather than to show the struggles of being a mother? She's using it more to make a statement, knowing that that's the thing that'll get on TV. What do you think about that? Do you think that she's using the baby to increase her screen time?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't know. I think for sometimes, you don't have nobody to take care of your baby. There is single fathers and single mothers out there, that they can care of their kids by themselves.
Yeah.
I don't think it does. Because I'm sure they make a lot of money, Elon Musk and the other person. But I don't know. I think it's not a place for kids.
I appreciate that so much, Rafael, because you went the exact direction that I was going. It's like their paychecks they got a lot of zeros on those checks. I'm pretty sure childcare is fairly affordable at that level.
Well, I appreciate Rafael's intellectual consistency.
Yeah. Thanks a lot, Rafael. Have a great day, man.
Baby in the congressional hearing with the Fed chairman, no baby in the White House.
Okay, that's fair.
Right?
Yeah,
that's
totally
fair.
Consistent on it. That is fair. And I do like his critique of Elon, that nobody was worried about it when Elon Musk brought the kid in, and possibly have even wiped some boogies on the Resolute desk. See that meme where maybe the kid left something behind? Yeah, so yeah, who knows? Yeah.
And is it the same as bringing your kid around while you're doing work? For instance, like allowing them to have a presence and having a child there while you're doing like very important work, right? Like it's one thing to take a press conference and you're kind of just standing around and he's just kind of having fun. But questioning the chairman of the Federal Reserve, like was Elon Musk's child in those like really top same meetings and creating a distraction? I don't know, but good point. 303-696-1971 is the phone line. The text line is 720-819-5115. Let's go to Francis Golden. Good morning, Francis. You're on with Jeff and Bill.
Morning.
Morning, you guys. Hey, let's put all this in context with Brittany Pettersen. This is the lady who wanted to proxy voting and really push that agenda and cited the child as a reason for it. I think child as prop in any circumstance, and that's exactly all this kid was here, was a child as a prop, is completely wrong. And Jeff, you're 100% right. There's different contexts in which you can bring a kid to a work environment, and that isn't it. I mean, there's no reason under the sun why a kid is in her lap while questioning the Federal Reserve chairman. I mean, it's absurd. And it's all just trying to get clicks or screen time or draw attention to an issue that she wants, which is some form of absentee voting. And it's because she wants it because that's the way she was when she was here in Colorado, and that's the way she wants it now. I asked the same thing that you did, Jeff. Where is Ian Silvery? I mean, this guy, he's a consultant. He works out of his, home office in Lakewood or something. Why is this kid not with him? Is there a reason under the sun why Brittany Pettersen has a kid in her lap questioning the Federal Reserve chairman? I mean, it's crazy.
And she's also got staff, Francis. I mean, I've worked for a U.S. Senator. My wife worked for 2 different members of Congress. You got plenty of staff. Hey,
yep.
would she get the charge then that she's making staff do personal errands or whatever it is? But I don't think that you would. I don't think any staff member. I remember how committed I was to my boss, that I was happy to help him in anything. Can you hold the baby? And this is not like hours of questioning either. It's about maybe 7 minutes of that each member of Congress gets to question the chairman of the Federal Reserve. Hey, chief of staff, or hey, person that works in the office, could you just hold little Sam for a second? I'm going to go ask some questions. Hey, Brittany, I'd be happy to hold Sam for a second. If I saw a woman in a moment where she's having to question the chairman of the Federal Reserve, and she's struggling. At one point, she says, I'm doing the best I can with Sam here. I would have been said, hey, Britt, happy to take Sam for a few minutes. Cute little baby. He's got lots of hair. Cute little baby. I'd be happy to hold him. You go do your thing. I'll stand in the back. That struck me as bizarre too.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, go ahead, Francis.
No. If I went to court with an infant, I mean, my son was an infant before, and if I went to court with him as an infant squirming around while I was trying to question a witness, the judge would have dressed me down, up one side and down the other, and they would have been in the right to do it. That is not an environment for a kid. Neither is a congressional hearing with the Federal Reserve chairman. For God's sake, that's even more of a formal environment, in my humble opinion, than a courtroom. I mean, it's ridiculous. God.
Yeah, the thing that I think that both of you have hit on, that I think it's like right on point with what Brittany Pettersen had done, bringing Sam into question with her federal chairman, Jerome Powell, is that she was trying to make a point that could have been avoided with childcare. And all I mean by that is I'm not talking about her getting a babysitter, a nanny, or anything like that. It's just having a staffer or another member of Congress hold the baby for 5 minutes. Because remember, her time frame is only 5. That's all she's allowed. So as soon as she starts, the timer starts ticking, and at the end of 5 minutes, she's done. And then she doesn't get to ask more questions. So the functionality of what she was there to do that day during that hearing, the important part was 5 minutes. It is not unreasonable to ask a staff member, a friend, another member of Congress to go ahead and hold your baby for a few minutes while you are doing X, Y, or Z. And guess why? And this is going to be a little uncomfortable here, because I'm pretty sure that there are moments in which, let's just say for Representative Pettersen, that nature calls. And you got to do something with the baby during those personal moments. So unless you're trying to, drop some kids off at the pool at the same time, you're in there at the same time you get the kid on your lap, again, there are moments in her everyday life in which she needs to put the baby down or do something else, and there are strategies and plans. It is odd and curious why there's no plan here.
I'm going to go here.
Yeah?
This is not necessarily fair.
I thought you were
Get ready,
Francis.
I thought you were going to the
bathroom. Uh-oh, okay.
Go get him.
Does she do this because she's the product of a single mom?
Ooh, interesting.
Oh, maybe. I didn't think about that. Like maybe this is some sort of a psychological thing with her where she needs to be continually connected to the kid on account of how she was brought up. I don't know.
Wow. She watched her mom have to do it all.
Yeah.
Yep.
Or maybe the idea is that based on the conditioning, and again, we are just armchair psychologically analyzing her. Not fair, but this is the show. We're going to do it. The idea being that because of the example that her mom set, that if she's not doing the same thing, if she complains about the problems or the difficulties in raising a child with a husband, that she's not living up to the standard that mom set. The idea that if mom could do it, then why do I have the space here to complain? Mom was able to manage this, so I should be able to manage this as well. And perhaps it plays in, again, we're just guessing here, perhaps playing into the psychology of showing people publicly that she can do that as well. That maybe that's part of it as well. You might have something there, Jeff.
You know what else could factor in? I'm going to go the other direction here, Jeff and Bill, if that's okay.
Oh, absolutely. As long as we're psychologically analyzing people on the show, let's do this, man.
Let's go all in. What if she has legitimate concerns of leaving an innocent thing with Ian? Maybe that's a problem. She might have. I mean, these might not be psychological issues, but just fact issues. She doesn't want to leave the kid alone with Ian Silvery. I mean, I don't know. It's a thing. The other thing I was thinking is why don't we just let Sam ask questions? I mean, we have a.
Couldn't be worse.
I'm going to go this way because why not? I mean, I don't have a great deal of use for Brittany, but look, you have a political science major asking a Federal Reserve chairman about what should be, I think, economically based questions. I don't know, but what Sam's is, well, maybe he can't vocalize it as well at this age, but he's probably as deep in this issue as Brittany could be. I mean, I'm just throwing it out there.
Well, he's super concerned about the increase in tariff prices in Melba toast, because that's what he's really worried about. Super curious about that one. Yeah, Francis, and that's what you said, Francis, and that's one of the things. And I appreciate the phone call. Thank you so much, Francis. One of the things that Jeff and I talked about earlier is why didn't Representative Pettersen, or at least the staff, if they're not going to take the baby, at least have a 3x5 note card with 3 important questions. Those could all be pre-written. You could have a sub point underneath them in case you need a follow-up. But you don't have to fumble around. If you know that Sam's going to be there, the potentiality of having the baby with you, then you need to prepare for it. And if you know you only got 5 minutes and you're going to have to hang on to Sam, then maybe you have to have those questions focused and written down beforehand. There's a staff there that probably could have helped her that way. And then it would have allowed Sam the space to pound on the table, etc. And she still has the card in front of her that can come back to where she needs to go. That question. Yeah, again, planning people.
I think what we're dealing with here is somebody that's not like when I bring my kids, or when Lauren Brobert's bringing her grandson, for instance.
Yeah.
What we do as parents is try to make sure that our kid has a good experience, but does not interrupt the flow of the system that we're a part of. Right? So it's very much sit over there.
Yep.
You can watch, here's headphones, all that stuff, but he's not playing with the mic. He's not jumping behind the camera. He's not doing that stuff that would interrupt the process that we're engaging here. I think the problem that people have with Brittany is she's asking the process to adjust to her.
Yeah.
So whether it's voting or this, she's going, I'm a mom. You just got to deal with it, right? My little baby's going to interrupt the questioning of the chairman of the Federal Reserve. Deal with it. I want to vote via proxy because I'm a mom. Deal with it. It's changed the system to address her as opposed to her trying to go, I know this is a little bit of a distraction. I'm so sorry. Little staffer, can you please take my child for just a quick second? I want to focus on that. That's where I think part of the rub is. All right, join the conversation. Give us a call, 303-696-1971. Text us on the Dan Caplis Law text line at 720-819-5115. Let's talk advanced hair restoration. The last couple of years have taught us anything, it's to value the things we can control in addressing hair loss. Top of that list, so why not take advantage of the great offers, the great work at Advanced Hair Restoration. Advanced Hair Restoration can reverse years, even decades of hair loss with a simple one-day treatment. Your own natural hair begins to regrow the very next day. Your hair is backed by that great Advanced Hair Guarantee. It works for bald spots, receding hairlines, thinning hair. For men, women, younger, wiser, Advanced Hair can address many different patterns of hair loss. Advanced Hair has top-rated physicians like Dr. Tanya Pauls who have changed the lives of tens of thousands of people. Now it's your turn. Schedule your free consultation today by giving them a call at 720-459-HAIR, 720-459-HAIR, and you can get 250 free hair grafts, $250 off. Great deal going on now. Value the things you can control. Start regrowing your own natural hair today. That's 720-459-HAIR. or become inspired with before and after pictures at advancedhair.com. Advancedhair.com. We'll continue with the Jeff and Bill Show.
This is Denver's talk leader, News Talk 710 KNUS. Scott from Littleton is up next. We've got a line open for you, 303-696-1971.
Welcome back to the Jeff and Bill Show. This is the headline out of ABC News. Representative Pettersen brings baby son along as she questions the Fed chairman. The 5-month-old sat on her lap and she's trying to ask questions and he's bouncing around. He's being a 5, but he's a really cute baby. Bouncing around, big full head of hair. And she gets distracted, has to apologize at one point. And the question is she just taking it too far? And are there certain spaces where, hey, maybe you shouldn't have your child? But to Raphael's point, no one was really complaining when Elon Musk brought his child into the Oval Office. So,
yeah.
Are we being unfair to Brittany Pettersen? Let's go to the phone line. Scott Littleton. Good morning, Scott. You're on with Jeff and Bill.
Morning.
Good morning, gentlemen. I probably can't add much more than Bill and Francis did so eloquently, but I'll add this. Remember, Brittany is the queen of props. She used her mom's unfortunate drug use in trying to bring shooting galleries to the state of Colorado. And maybe the reason Sal, is that her husband, Sal?
Ian.
Whatever. I know he's just a commie, and maybe commie men don't watch kids in their families, but, Brittany's just a perfect example of how this state has gone into the toilet. I'm on I-25, and it's scary to think the person on the left and the person on the right of me are most likely from California, Michigan, Illinois, Minnesota, or some other scumbag liberal state that they couldn't stand anymore, so they had to flee, and they've come here only to vote in and live just like they did in the garbage pit they moved here from. It's just scary.
No, if they were logical to begin with, they'd be Republicans. All right. Thank you, Scott. Appreciate it. Text message 7055. Once again, we're just a bunch of men, Bill, guessing how a mother raises her child.
Again, we were kind of guessing a couple of things. Yeah, sure. Just based on this. But, yeah. However, I understand the critique, and some of it was tongue-in-cheek, and you may have thought some of it was a little bit mean-spirited, and that's fine. We'll take that critique all day, but, some of the things that we were doing are kind of showing extremes of examples to play with this. But I do think that the core and the kernel of the conversation is absolutely 110% fair, that we are talking about, again, I am fine. Unlike some of the other people that have texted and called the show, I'm fine with Brittany bringing the baby to Congress. I'm fine with it. However, there seems like a choice available for the 5 minutes she's asking a question where someone else can hang on to the baby. I think that's reasonable. And if we want to talk about the idea of parents, and especially people that are parents that are bringing their kids to Congress, if we want to have the idea that this is going to be acceptable, then I believe that the onus is on those parents to showcase proper behavior. And what I mean by that is it's always okay to have bring your dog to work day or have dogs come into the office until one bites somebody else and it requires stitches. Then no more dogs. And that behavior is somewhat dependent upon the owner understanding the stressors and the nature of their dog and the interactions. And so the same thing, I'm not saying that a child is like a dog, but I'm saying if you want to, as a parent, bring the child into the situation, understand the limitations and other things that are required. We're talking about a 5-minute period of questions. That's it. We're not talking about Brittany Pettersen having to perform open heart surgery with the baby in a Bjorn. We're not talking about that. So that's the issue. This is a small window of opportunity out of the 24 hours she had of that day. There isn't somebody else that for 5 minutes can hang on to young Sam. That's the thing that I find questionable about what happened.
To address what Francis says, there's no evidence that Ian is unfit parents or anything like that. But at this point, I am asking questions.
I think it's fair.
When your husband is not necessarily, a military member serving somewhere off on foreign land defending our freedoms, is a consultant, is a little political activist, and he seems to be totally absent from all this. You just kind of go, huh.
Yeah, and
things that make you go,
Now, we could invent scenarios. Nice done. There are things there that we could invent, maybe reasons why Ian Silveria wouldn't be there and be able to. Maybe there is a conference he had to go to. Maybe there is an in-person meeting, and in order to get the baby there, it's more of a burden than what Brittany was going to have to go through. There are understandable reasons why, but, and this is where the pain point for me exists, is it's a 5-minute question session. That's what I keep going back to.
You keep going back to it.
Yes,
Yep.
because it's 5 minutes, and I have taken it at one point in my life. I was the stay-home dad because of radio. My shift started at 8 o'clock at night. That's when I went to work. My wife's 9 to 5 in it. Who was at home during the day taking care of the kids? It was me.
Right.
I was the person that was dropping kids off at school. I was the person going to the parent-teacher conferences. I was the person going to the lunches. I was the person that was there when they were riding their bike the first time during those times because she's doing the 9 to 5. I had the time during the day because my job didn't start until 8 o'clock at night. Yeah. That's it. That's why this 5-minute window is important to me.
Outrageous to me. All right, let's talk L&L heating and air conditioning. We got 80 and scattered storms today. It's going to get into the mid-90s Friday and Saturday. It's going to be hot. If your air conditioners run into problems, that line's gotten frozen, you need somebody to come out, look at a repair, or maybe it's a whole new install, we got the folks for you. It's L&L heating and air conditioning. Came out to our house, fixed what we had broken. It took one day. It was no stress, personal service, start to finish. Followed up to make sure everything was perfect. Now our home's totally comfortable no matter what the weather. With the L&L heating and air conditioning, we got peace of mind. Here's the deals they got going on right now. A free programmable thermostat or carbon monoxide detector with new furnace or air conditioner installation. No emergency charges. A $0 trip fee. Price match value guarantee on equipment, free estimates, licensed and insured, and a 5-year labor warranty. Everything works great. Our family couldn't be happier. So if you're looking for fast, honest, and reliable service, I highly recommend L&L Heating and Air Conditioning, 720-851-1691, online at bestdenverhvac.com. bestdenverhvac.com. I'm sure glad we called him. That number again, 720-851-1691. We'll continue. You're listening to The Jeff and Bill Show.
This is Denver's talk leader, News Talk 710, KNUS.
Welcome back to the Jeff and Bill Show. Laura Thomas already in studio. She's going to join us to talk about the results of the Douglas County home rule vote that took place yesterday. And she brought us donuts.
And they're still warm. Oh my God.
She's like that fun mom that always shows up with snacks.
Yes. She's like the fun mom that always had the good snacks after soccer. Yeah. That was it. Because you knew those families. And you're like, this is awful. This is horrible. And then you're like, yeah, John's mom is bringing the snacks. Yeah, everybody knew.
Brought us donuts today. Always appreciate that. All right, Speaking of great people, let's talk Dan Caplis, Dan Caplis Law. I've known Dan well over a decade. Pro-life, pro-family, pro-faith, pro-America. He's right there with us on the values. And that matters because who you choose to represent you in an injury case says a lot about you to everybody involved in the case. Dan Caplis is the son of a police officer and a former seminarian who's dedicated the last 40 years of his life to helping the people hurt in serious motor vehicle crashes. He's been getting justice for a long time for people in Colorado. That's why he has such a sterling reputation. Listen to this results in the courtroom. Dan is believed to be the only lawyer in Colorado history to win 5 straight multi-million-dollar verdicts in Colorado crash cases. Dan is also believed to have won the largest truck crash verdict in Colorado state history. Dan Caplis Law is the official law firm partner of the Denver Nuggets and the Colorado Avalanche. Dan Caplis Law is a serious firm for serious cases. Dan accepts righteous injury cases on a percentage fee basis so that he can represent good people from all walks of life without regard to ability to pay. So if you need Dan's help, give him a call, 303-770-5551. 303-770-5551 or hit dancaplisLaw.com. That's Dan, C-A-P-L-I-S law.com. All right. Home rule results.
Yes.
So, the last update, which was last night, let's see if they've refreshed it as of this morning. I'm not sure there are. Nope. Okay. 71% no against Douglas County's home rule question, 28% yes. Whew. That's a strong message.
Yeah, that's an ass whooping. I mean, that's not even close. And given the demographic makeup of the county, for me, that's a huge surprise. But, Jeff, you've kind of dove into the numbers a little bit deeper, and we'll do this next hour, about some things we can look at as to some indications as to why this was so a lopsided victory. There could be something going on in the county that you've looked at, and also there are questions. Former, I guess not former, but current council member George Teal talked about the idea that maybe this is moving too fast, too quickly for the county.
I mean, part of the numbers that I'm intrigued to talk with Laura Thomas about is Angela Thomas.
Yeah.
Okay. If you look at the at-large numbers, who got the most votes? It was Angela Thomas. So I didn't know who this was. I don't live in Douglas County, so I went to go look at Angela Thomas. Seems pretty progressive to me. She doesn't like Lauren Boebert, supports Tricia Calaverse, her opponent, did not like Douglas County separating from Tri-County Health. So I don't know her registration. Maybe Laura Thomas can fill me in on that. But doesn't seem to be a strong vote for conservatives in the county.
Yeah, we wouldn't guess that she would be aligned with most conservative causes just based on things that you've seen, social media and other interactions. And
by the way, her title in her website says "Vote Democratic."
Oh, so I think we have. Okay, then I think we can safely draw a conclusion. This isn't one of those Nancy Drew mysteries here.
So it's a no vote, and the people that got the highest votes to be on the charter drafting committee seem to be Democratic. So what I think happened, and I'm going to get Laura's response here when we get into the next hour, was that conservatives were split on the issue of home rule. Democrats united on it. Plus, Democrats had a strong turnout operation. Is that the formula that came together against home rule? I'll ask Laura Thomas, former Douglas County Commissioner, about this next. Don't miss this conversation. You're listening to The Jeff and Bill Show.
This is Denver's talk leader, News Talk 710, KNUS.